Reading Around the World update for South Carolina. I read How to Be Drawn by Terrence Hayes, and this is a poetry collection that I'm going to have to revisit. And I'm also going to have to check out some of his other poetry because the language is gorgeous. And I did have several poems that really stood out to me that I enjoyed, but some of the poems were very complicated and I looked more into it. And he's a visual artist first and foremost. And so, How to Be Drawn, he has both the metaphorical and literal how to draw in here. And so many of the poems I like using drawing terms, but then also looping in these big abstract feelings as well. And the best way to deal with that is to give you two examples. And so the first one is called New York Poem. In New York, from a rooftop in Chinatown, one can see the sci-fi bridges and aisles of buildings where there are more miles of shortcuts and alternative takes than there are Miles Davis alternative takes. There is a white girl who looks hijacked with feeling in her glittering jacket and her boots that look made of dinosaur skin, and are saying to her, I love you, again and again. On a Chinatown rooftop in New York, anything can happen. Someone says, abattoir is such a pretty word for slaughterhouse. Someone says, mermaids are just fish ladies. I am so fucking vain I cannot believe anyone is threatened by me. In New York, not everyone is forgiven. Dear New York, dear girl with a barcode tattooed on the side of your face, and everyone writing poems about and inside and outside the subways. Dear people underground in New York, on the sci-fi bridges and aisles of New York, on the rooftops of Chinatown where Miles Davis is pumping in. And someone is telling me about contraniums, how cleave and cleave are the same word looking in opposite directions. I know now, bolt is to lock and bolt is to run away. That's how I think of New York. Someone jonesing for Grace Jones at the party, and someone jonesing for Grace. And then the second one is American Sonnet for Wanda C. Who I know knows why all the lush-boned, worn-out girls are whooping at where the moon should be, an eyelid clamped on its lightness. Nobody sees her without the hoops firing in her ears, because nobody sees. Tattooed across her chest, she claims, is bringing me to where my blood runs, and I want to be here, where I am her son, pent in blackness and turning the night's calm, loose and letting the same blood fire through me. In her bomb hair, shells full of thunder, in her mouth, the fingers of some calamity, somebody foolish enough to love her foolishly. Those who could hear no music weren't listening. And when I say it, it's like claiming she's an elegy. It rhymes because of her, with effigy. Because of her, if there is no smoke, there is no party. I think of you, Miss Calamity. Every Sunday, I think of you on a Monday. I think of you hurling hurt where the moon should be and stomping into a darkness calmly. As you can see, it's beautiful. It evokes so many pictures, but also it is a little bit challenging. Some of the other poetry collections I've recommended have been really good entry-level poetry collection. This is definitely one that you would need to sit with for a while, but still very, very good, and I would definitely check it out.